Stephanie, and for those of you who don't know me, I am a solitary pagan witch and I've been practicing for 13 years. And today I want to talk about magical books and magical journals. So, if you're a new witch, you're going to hear a lot about Books of Shadows, and there's a lot of opinions about Books of Shadows. Some people call them grimoires. I don't like the word grimoire for that reason, because I have a challenging time saying it. It's just not, it doesn't feel natural to me to say the word grimoire. I also don't call my magical journal a Book of Shadows, because I feel like a Book of Shadows is a very specific thing. I feel like a Book of Shadows is a reference book, and as I've been practicing for 13 years, I have a reference book. I have many reference books. I have many magical journals that I've made, and I also have many magical reference books that I've purchased. So today I want to show you my current magical journal, which I call my Book of Mirrors. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. No, I'm not. Okay, it's gone. I hate when that happens. Also, look at my awesome coffee cup. Now, Baby's Coffee doesn't sponsor me at all. I just really love their coffee, and this mug is super sweet. My father-in-law lives in Key West, and Baby's Coffee is like super delicious. So if you ever want to like go on their website and order some coffee or just get one of these sweet mugs, there's that. So back to magical books and journals and my personal Book of Mirrors. Okay. So this is my current Book of Mirrors. Hope you guys can see that. Now, I actually won this book in a on a Facebook giveaway thing for one of the like witchy groups I'm in. And when it got to me, it didn't have this on it. I painted this. It did have the little painted uterus in the background, but not all like the flower embellishments and stuff like that. I did that. I dressed that up. And I spent a lot of time painting this cover. The uterus in general is very sacred to me. You know, the sacred space of creation. The uterus is the vessel between this world and the next. That's just what I believe. So that, you know, it meant a lot to me to have that on my magical book. Next, we open it, and I have some quotes and some paintings that I did. And a lot of people like to start their magical books, Books of Shadows, grimoires, Book of Mirrors with quotes and stuff, or they like to put, you know, a little like protection spell on the first page. I chose some of my favorite quotes. So the first quote I have over here is Salvador Dali, and it says, "When we are asleep in this world, we are awake in another." Over here, I have Oscar Wilde, who's one of my favorite writers of all time. And it says, "Yes, I am a dreamer, for a dreamer is one who can only find his way by moonlight, and his punishment is that he sees the dawn before the rest of the world." Beautiful. Over here, I have a Kurt Vonnegut quote from Slaughterhouse-Five, one of my absolute favorite books. And it says, "All moments, past, present, and future, always have existed, always will exist. It is just an illusion we have here on earth that one moment follows another one. like beads on a string. And that once a moment is gone, it is gone forever. Over here, another Oscar Wilde quote. It takes great courage to see the world in all its tainted glory and still to love it. And then down here, my last Kurt Vonnegut Slaughterhouse-Five quote is, "So it goes." Very beautiful. Highly recommend reading anything by Oscar Wilde or Kurt Vonnegut, two of my favorite authors. Next. This is just some workings that I've done. This page is solely dedicated to my patron god. His name is Bobby Bobby. He is an Australian, he's an Australian god, and there is a huge story behind him and how I found him. And if you're interested in that, leave me a comment and I will make a video about that. Next is just, more writing. This down here is a little bit about my matron goddess, Persephone. Again, if you would like to know more about that, let me know. But as you can see, I try to use up all of this space, and I know you can't read it, and, a lot of it's personal. So a lot of the time I see people are too scared to write in their journals because they don't want to mess up. But I have, I have scribbles, I have crossouts, and it's not perfect, and that's fine. Your journal is just yours. Nobody has to see it, nobody has to look at it, and it doesn't need to be perfect, beautiful, cursive scripts, with beautiful paintings and drawings in it. If that's what you like, that's what you like, but don't put expectations on yourself. Don't put expectations on your magical journal. It's yours. Next is these beautiful Japanese maple leaves, and I know that they look like marijuana leaves, but they're not. They're Japanese maple leaves. I have a beautiful Japanese maple tree out in my front yard. So this is just a page dedicated to the Japanese maple leaf and, some magical uses for that. This is a little shadow work stuff I've done. More spells, more just, my writings and thoughts on magic, my current practice. All of that is in here. A little page marker, which this is actually, it says, spice is the variety of life. It's from a box of cinnamon sticks I got. I don't remember the brand or anything, but I really liked this, so I kept it and I use it as a bookmark. But I have little drawings in here. I have little spells in here. I have reflections in here on just like things that I've done, meditations, stuff like that. So don't be afraid to use your book. Like, that is the most important thing, to have a place where you can write down your reflections on your practice. That really, it really helps to be able to look back and see how you've evolved. This is the 2020 full moons and new moons. I like having that. I just like having that for, the New Year's, because it's helpful. I don't like using apps or anything like that, because apps can be wrong, especially because the moon is going to be different wherever you live. Here in New Hampshire, I'm a day behind people in Australia. So the full moon for me will not happen at the same time for the full moon for somebody in Australia. So that's that. Just more writing. I love to use up the entire page. So you'll see like little boxes outlined with pictures, and those are separate things. Like, these are my cards of the day and stuff like that. I have oil recipes, I have more reflections on spells, I have little symbols that I've used to dress candles with. I'm a big fan of writing on my 7-day candles to make them more personal to me. And I think that's the biggest thing. Just, make your magical journal yours, because it is yours. And don't be afraid to paint in it. Don't be afraid to turn it over and do something different. This is my December full moon ritual that I did this year, or at the end of last year, 2019. And, don't be afraid to get messy or get creative in your book, because this is your book. Like, I have a really crappy doodle of 2 people kissing there. Like, that's such a crappy little doodle, but it's in there. More drawings, more paintings. Don't be afraid to do that kind of stuff. Don't be afraid to fill up your pages. Don't be afraid to mess up. Don't be afraid to cross things out, because that happens. The most important thing is that this is your journal and you love it, and it's a place where you can be unashamedly you. So, and some of my pages are pretty blank. Like, this is a reading specifically that I did for a client of mine, because I do tarot readings and stuff. So I usually dedicate, 1 page to my client and their reading, and later on I'll reflect on it for them and stuff like that. But yeah, it's your magical intent, and it's what you want it to be. So if you want an extravagant book, make it extravagant. If you want to cut and paste and print out stuff that you find beautiful off the internet, do that. Do whatever you feel is right in your magical book. I love painting. I love painting in my book. I'm an artist. I paint a lot. I also made these little ribbon bookmarks. There's a little fish on this, because I'm a Pisces and I love me some fishies. This page says, "You are the wild flowers. Grow free. Bloom in the sun." And then it has a little more quotes over here. "Beauty is grown from happiness. Happiness is a rainbow. Never stop." Never stop growing. I'm trying to read like upside down and sideways. To be wild. To be wild is to be courageous. Sorry, and it was in cursive, and I almost never write in cursive. Like, I know that's a huge running joke. Millennials can't read cursive. I can read cursive. I can write in cursive. I think that's rude. I just don't do it often, so it's a thing. Anyway, I also have these little flippies in here, and I'm actually not finished with these sections. This is like a plan for my garden that I'm starting. I already have my seeds sown right now in little starter trays. I plant a magic garden every year, and it's also some information on some of my local plant life around here. I just moved from one part of New Hampshire to a different part of New Hampshire, and you would be so surprised how many different plants are in different areas. So I just have some information about that, and here's the unfinished stuff. I have my little foldouts and stuff, and that is it for my magical journal. After this page, there's nothing. And soon, once I get past my magic planning for my garden, I'll be moving on and filling up this way more. My point in all of this is, don't put so much expectation on yourself that you can't bring yourself to write in your journal. You know, too many times we get these beautiful leather-bound journals with this natural, beautiful parchment paper, and we are so scared to write in them that they just sit there and collect dust. That's not what a magical book is for. Write in your magical book. Use your magical journal. It's great if you want to create a book of shadow and have references in there, but you can easily just get a book on, you know, the different chakras. You can just get a book on the different seasons and how to celebrate them in the pagan holidays and stuff like that. You don't need that information in every single magical journal. If you like it, write it down. If you think you'll reference back to that often, sure, write it down. But if it's stuff that you'll just end up remembering, it doesn't have to be in every single magical journal. And like everybody else says, this is your practice. Make it yours. All right. With that, blessed be my friends, and I'll see you in the next one.